You know what zero-sum games are? It's if you win something, somebody else has to lose something in order for everything to always come out exactly equal. Zero-sum. You know? You can't both be winners. Someone wins, someone loses, and everything equals out. We have that mentality. Why? Because generally speaking, that's the way the world works. If you get something, it came out of somebody else's pocket. It came out of somebody else's hide. And so here we are with this idea of the world in terms of legality, zero-sum, and especially scarcity. We see our resources as finite. We see them as scarce. We see them as something that we need to acquire, sometimes through great effort, even violence, and then has to be held onto and protected. And so this is the way we're looking at life. It's a rationing mentality. It's a bunker mentality. It's supply and demand. But it's all based on scarcity, based on legality, and based on this idea of zero-sum. Now, it may not be as heavy as all that in your mind, but if you think about it, that underlying idea, that underlying understanding of the world carries those very elements. But here's Jesus painting a very different picture of his Father. Jesus is trying to give us a radically different picture of who he knows his Father to be. Jesus has spent the time in the wilderness. Jesus has become one with the Father. Jesus knows his Father firsthand. And as he comes back into his hometown, as he comes back into the Galilee, he's trying to portray that image of Father. Who is this Father really? In John 10:10, it's right in the middle of that beautiful passage about him being the good shepherd. Remember that one? I am the good shepherd. The shepherd know me, I know my sheep. He gives us the example, the image of the sheepfold, which was usually a rough structure that the shepherds just created, usually against a cliff wall or a hillside, and just roughly built 3 sides out for that and left a space. And then they would sleep in the space if they didn't have a gate that they could put to keep the sheep in at night. And the sheep wouldn't step over the shepherd, they knew. Jesus says, I am the gate. I am the door. And the sheep that go through me find pasture, find salvation, find their rest. Anyone who jumps over is a thief and a robber. And then he says this, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. And this idea of abundant life is what Jesus is trying to get across over and over and over again. That this mentality of scarcity, this mentality of zero-sum is something that really has to die in us if we're ever going to have the ability to understand who our Father really is from Jesus' point of view.